Hello, my name is Rafał Włosek and I'm a game designer from Poland. In this video I'd like to tell you something about my work and about my games, the projects that I took part in as a game designer. So there were 5 of them. The first and the earliest one was Anomaly Wars on Earth version for PC. I was working there as a level designer. I designed most of the levels and created them in editor. I also designed some units, some special skills and some enemies and the boss. Anomaly Wars on Earth also has endless mode, and I didn't design it. But I took part in balancing this mode, as well as balancing the whole game. My another game was Anomaly Wars on Earth, but the mobile version. Actually, it was almost entirely a new game. It has different user interface. It has a little different story. It has entirely different levels. All of them were made from the beginning. I was working there as a level designer, but I also worked on balancing this game. Another project I was working on was Anomaly 2. It was a big change for me because in Anomaly 2 I became a lead designer / project leader. This project was bigger than Anomaly Wars on Earth, but not as big that it would need 2-person, one as a lead designer, another one as a project leader. So I was 2 in 1. In this project I was working on units and enemies. I designed all of them, as well as some new skills. I designed most of the levels and created some of them in the editor, and some of them were made by other designers. I took part in creating a story, and that would be all for the single player mode. Anomaly 2 also had multiplayer, and this was my biggest achievement and the biggest challenge, because I had to create and design it whole from the beginning to the end. So I was the only designer creating multiplayer in Anomaly 2. And when I designed it, I had to test it. I had to lead the process of implementing it to the game. And then when the game was released, I had a special tool where I was tracking everything what that was happening in this multiplayer and tweaking it after release. So I had a very nice tool gathering for me the data from all multiplayer matches around the world. Okay, so another project I took part in was Anomaly 2 for handheld devices. Mobile version. This one wasn't so different from the PC version as Anomaly Wars on Earth was, and I didn't work so much on it. That would be all about Anomaly. My last project, something that I'm the most proud of, is the game called This War of Mine. At first I was working there as lead designer and project leader, the same as it was in case of Anomaly 2, but this project was way bigger, so in the middle of the project it was obvious I can't handle both positions, so I decided to give away my position of project leader, and I focused on being a lead designer, which, well, I definitely prefer to design than to create project plans. Anyway, back to this war of mine. As a lead designer, I'm responsible for creating most of the core mechanics of the game. I have a list there, so I will be reading it from the monitor. The thing I'm the most proud of is empathy system. It's the system designed for realistic reproduction of emotions experienced by characters in the game. Each of them has his different nature that evolved during the war. This system was very important, and I think it's our biggest achievement. It was very important because we wanted that characters in the game would be perceived by player as real people that have real emotions and real problems. This way we managed to create a game in which a player not only decides making cold calculations like in most of the strategic games, but he decides using his heart and conscience, and that's very important. That's what this game was meant to do. Another big thing I designed in this war of mine was a crafting. I create whole crafting system. I create whole randomization system. I balance the game. The whole balance and tests were led by me. I've balanced the game economy by configuring merchants, configuring loot on the levels, prices on the stuff, and so on. I've created worse scenarios because when player play the game, there are always some random scenario. In fact, they are not totally random. There are a big pack of them, and the game is trying to choose one that best fits for the player at the moment when you start the game once again. The game is looking at your previous games and choose the best scenario for another one, so you wouldn't feel that it's always the same. So that's another thing I designed and balanced. However, it wasn't my idea. I just designed it when I just got the task to design it and balance. Another thing is something I called emotion tracking. It was my own idea and creation. It's a system that records all events in the game, register them and analyze, and calculate the different emotional impact on each character in the game. This means that that everything that happens in the game will be somehow applied to the characters, And the most important part of this emotional tracking system is that in the end of the game, the system analyzes the game story, compare it with characters, nature, and chooses the proper ending for their own personal story. So when you're playing the game, at the end you have an end log, and even if we don't want to judge player through the game, it was very important for us. In the end of the game, player can see what kind of an impact this war has on the characters he led. So some people can go through war and get over it and live quite normal life, but some of them will not, and the war will always stay in their hearts and make their life impossible. So we are trying to analyze everything that happens to that people during the war. Every thing they did is remembered, and in the end of the game, their personal stories generated. Well, that would be all about my work and my 5 projects. I'm happy that you spent some time watching this video. Thank you for that, and I hope you'll see the rest of them. Bye.